G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the west side of the map, playing as the French. We got 3DB in the blue. On the opposite side of the map, I say the opposite, but he's actually towards the north of the map, spawning in as the red English. We've got Hart. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frisian Marshes. This is a custom map made especially for the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy. Well, not made especially for it. Actually, I don't know if it was made especially for it. No, I don't think it was. I think it was actually made for our map making contest that we had for the month of May. But it's had a couple of fixes to it. But anyway, look, we're on the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy, a $300,000 Age of Empires 4 tournament that's going to be hosted this year in October, and players are currently vying to potentially get a golden ticket to it. At the moment, Hut as well as B are trying their best to get towards the finals, because this weekend, or at least the weekend that's just gone for you guys, because I'm casting these games live right now, essentially there's going to be 2 tickets that are given away, and these guys are vying for one of those tickets. Now, they're early on in the stages. I think if the winner of this will go on to play probably another 2 people before they actually go through to the final round. So there's quite a lot of stuff to get to, but anyway, that is it. That is your little bit of a rundown, and we're currently in game number 3 of this series, and look what we've got here. We have got ourselves an early mill coming out for B, and he is on the shoreline fish. The shoreline fish, for anybody unfamiliar with them, are insanely good, incredibly good. And the reason why is because their gather rate is much higher than any other source of food in the game. With the exception of maybe the boar would probably be the closest. But keep in mind, the boar dies, there's 2,000 food on it. The difference here with these shoreline fish, ideally, if you could have snuck the million over on this side, it would have been perfect. But you got a bit more walking distance with them. That's the big difference. So I think one of the big things is, if you're going to go for an opening like this, like B has done here, I think a really good idea would be to try and get an early wheelbarrow in, just because you're going to be getting so much more value out of it. You can see he's down to 120 here. By the time maybe that wheelbarrow comes in, you're onto your next fishing patch. You're doing a little bit less walking there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'd have to double check, but I think the rates are 0.96 for this without any sort of buffs, which means that they collect 0.96 food every single second, whereas a boar is 0.91. And then you compare that to like a farm, which is 0.6, a sheep, which I think is 0.7. And you can see where the big differences start to come in. School of Cavalry going to be coming down now for B. We'll check in on the other side of the map and see how Hut is doing. Hut going to be playing on the English here, a civilization that he is quite fond of. And this map, of course, Frisian Marshes, we can talk a little bit about it. Of course, we've spoken at length already about these shoreline fish. So the map is dotted with these small little amounts of shoreline fish. Oh no, what do we got here from Hut? We've got ourselves an outpost rush early. He's going to be hitting the gold. So no sorry, Bob, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to be seeing a council hall. There ain't going to be any archers coming out today. The only thing going to be coming out with bows are these villagers. We have got the English villager rush. It is back, ladies and gentlemen. And what an ultimate counter to the French. So the whole idea behind this is that English against French, it's difficult for the English. It's difficult for all civs because of the knight. So how do you stop the knights from coming out? You take away the gold. And this map in particular is somewhat notorious for its lack of, how do you say, mobility. If you get put in the corner like Hut is doing right now, look at the outposts that are coming up. Hut also dropping down a mill over here as well. So the outpost in this position going to be able to deny away this gold. But remember, there's always going to be the option to come down here. There's always going to be the option to sneak a villager down towards one of these corners as well. Something you've got to be watching out for, something you've got to be cognizant of. So we'll look to see whether he does that. But the villagers at the moment now are going to be moving out towards this position. We'll ride on board with B and see where his villagers are at and see if he's got any behind enemy lines. It doesn't seem like it at the moment. He's uncovered a lot of the map, but unfortunately not a lot of the gold. So we'll see how he looks to play it now. He looks to break this outpost, and whether it's the same sort of strategy that you would look to break a Mongol outpost rush. So does that mean that we're going to be seeing professional scouts here? Probably not, because, I mean, there's already so much damn food on this map. You can see from the amount of sheep that he's bringing in. We do a quick look-see at that. He's got 23 sheep right now. That is a lot of sheep. 23 sheep. You're talking about, how much food is that? That's like 6,000 food just on the sheep. Damn, girl. How you fitting them jeans with all that mutton? That is impressive. That is a lot of food right there. So I would suspect that we might even just see, it looks like it's going to be horsemen, 29 seconds. Scouts only 16, same amount of siege. But interestingly, not going to be doing that here. So just going to be going into horsemen. I think it's a smart move. You can look to intercept reinforcements as well. But we'll check in now and see if there's any reinforcements on the way. No sirree, Bob. Not another unit going to be coming towards this base in a long time. But Horseman going to be out now. He's going to be in position to potentially move down towards this. He does spot the villagers out on this south side, but the problem is if you've got only one horseman, I don't say this ironically, I say this sadly, that the 5 villagers would probably whoop his butt. Second horseman going to be coming out now, probably more than enough that he needs to break this. The thing he's got to be careful of is if villagers look to come out here, which they are already doing, and repair up this outpost, potentially jump in this outpost as well, they're going to be able to cause all sorts of shenanigans for him. But instead of going into the scouts, going into the horsemen, and I like this play. This makes a lot of sense, right? Because think about the normal way that you deal with an outpost rush or a tower rush here as the French. You would go heavy into scouts and then go into professional scouts. But here he says, I'm not going to go into professional scouts because, or I'm not going to go into scouts because I don't want professional scouts. I'm going to go into horsemen instead. And with those horsemen, he's going to be able to utilize those against any kind of early feudal aggression from the English player. Looks like a couple of villagers are going to go down. I see 1, 2 villagers going down there. So he's only got 3 villagers remaining at this forward base. But he's going to have to fall back for the moment, moving over towards this next outpost. He's going to try his best to pull back these lower health horsemen and just prevent any kind of of units from dying. Scout is going to be going down though. Hut reaching the feudal age. 6 minutes 20. Not bad little timing there. We'll look to see whether he's going to be getting in those arrow slits quickly. But keep in mind, he's got the villagers inside. He's going to be able to pop them out in the event that he needs to. And indeed, he does look to try and pop them out. Immediately, the horsemen turning their attention towards it. Nice little bit of a heal right there. We'll check back towards the base of Hut and see whether he's gathering up stone. Indeed, he's got 3 villagers on stone. So arrow slit's going to be coming through on that second outpost now. He's trying his best to heal that one up. Actually, not even healing it up. He's just trying to get the villagers out. 3 villagers and a scout going to be running down towards that second outpost, turning their attention towards the second one. He's done a great job of breaking through this so far. A beautiful reaction. Honestly, a lot of people might look to overreact, might look to try and take a secondary gold, might look to try and sneak some villagers out on the map, as I mentioned earlier. But instead, it's not going to be the case here. It is just a very simple, I'm going to stick with horsemen. I've got wood, I've got food, and now behind it, the double barracks. And this is where it starts to get a little bit messy for Hut, because it feels like Hut hasn't done enough damage. Sure, he's caused horsemen to come out, but I'll be honest with you guys. I've seen French players go for only horsemen at this in this matchup before, and it's worked. And I'm talking open maps. Now, normally they do it with the second town center, but that is, you know, it's something that you cannot ignore. Villager, or rather, Longbowman going to get cleaned up there. Wolf going to be turning its attention towards those horsemen, fortunately making his run away. We see another villager going to be trying to make its way out, but unfortunately the horsemen going to be chasing that one down as well. More villagers going to be moving out. You can see they got their fishing nets. You know exactly where they're going. They are heading down towards that fishing party. A great little spot. Looks like the villager on this other side of the map going to get cleaned up, unfortunately, for Hut. And we'll tune back in over towards his base and see how he's doing. We see B's got a scout. He knows exactly what is up here. And you see this many villagers on stone and you say, oh, that's probably a town center. So we'll check in with Hut and we'll see how he's doing. Indeed, it's looking like a town center. But unfortunately, those horsemen are running in. More longbows going to be coming out towards his position. He's got no spears at all. He puts down oh, I love it. He puts down a single paling, gets immediately rampaged and run over the top of. Horsemen going to be able to break that, but got to be careful of the Gatling gun. Gatling gun now going to begin to fire down towards those horsemen, and just so quickly they begin to fall. You can see the damage that comes in. Look out how much damage he takes. And remember, these horsemen don't heal up. They don't heal up like the beautiful knights that the French have got access to. No. They do not. They take a lot of damage and it stays with them. But now dropping off that stone, it's going to be enough for him to get that second town center up. So Hut with a win condition here. He says, you know what? If I can get this second town center up, I might be able to think about a castle age and very aggressive town center placement as well, looking to secure that gold. Now, we don't see any more outposts in this game at the moment from B, but I wouldn't be surprised to see villagers getting pulled. There's the villagers. This is becoming almost standard for these French players, and that outpost or that town center are going to be forced to cancel here. The fact that he's attacking, it's going to mean that if he does cancel it, he's going to be losing the resources for it, and if he does do that, this is going to be set him back very far moving forward with the longbowman. Villagers going to be coming out here once again. He's going to be forced back away from it. He wants to make sure that he's committing to it, and this could be tragic for Hut as the villagers do make their way out. I'm sure once he sees the villagers, he knows he's going to have to cancel it. We'll check and see with Hut whether he spots that. There, he sees the outpost now, and the villagers going to have to fall their way back, because the problem's going to be if that outpost gets up, that unfortunately for the town center, it doesn't matter that it's there. The gold mine is still going to be under fire. Trying to siege down that town center. He's got to be careful. If he loses this is a big problem right here. He's looking to try and pull villagers for it. He's got 12 villagers out here, but the main problem is going to have archers on the backside. Town center firing off. It's got the Gatling gun firing. Town Center still staying alive. Hut really looking to try and keep this one above water. Unfortunately for him, the arrow slits are now coming in as well. Things going from bad to worse for Hut, and B looking good. We see that there's plenty of units in queue at the moment. Not even on gold. He said, you know what? You took it from me. I don't even need it, baby. I'm going full horsemen, full archers. That's all I needed. We see more archers running in underneath the town center for a bit of a sacrifice there. And indeed, both of them going to be going down. It looks like, no, only just going to be the one. Town center is going to be getting up, but remember, once those arrow slits come out, it should be able to fire down on these villagers. Indeed, it does. And now the first one goes down. Second one going to be the focus. He manages to drop down a mining camp on the opposite side. So probably going to be deleting this mining camp and then just making sure that the villagers stay on that side. It's a very, very smart move. I didn't even think about that as a possibility for Hut. So basically the way that... So the problem is if he rallies to here, these villagers will most likely get shot by the outpost. But if he rallies the villagers over to here and then moves and then tells the villagers to go into the mine, they'll run out, start mining from that position, and then return the gold to that gold mine. And then that way it will not be... So you can see this villager here. He manually moved it. He didn't actually rally it. Wall coming up on this backside. No villagers moving around towards that edge just yet. Mill coming out as well. So he's looking to really keep his position up towards the front. And Hart trying his best to hold on the second town center, as well as a couple of mills going to be thrown, or a couple of farms now going to be thrown down. We'll check in with B and see how he's doing. He's going absolutely all in at this stage in the feudal. No siege engineering just yet, but he does have 4 villagers heading over to gold. I would suspect that's what that is going to be for, because he knows that he can clear out this town center, but he's going to need a battering ram to do it. Outpost going to be coming up over here. We can see a villager moving out. He's looking to put down his own outpost as well. These guys are just ahead of the game. They know exactly what each other are up to, and now those longbows got to be careful, because the horsemen with that going to be moving out, and you can see from Hut's position, he cannot see through this. He needs this outpost up. He's got to be so careful. Did he not see the horsemen hiding? Perhaps he did. Perhaps he just said, you know what? I'm not even fussed. And now the longbowmen begin to fire down upon the outpost. Horsemen begin to run in. They're going to try and run around. A couple of them get caught in on the palings. Palings fall down as the longbows head out of that position. Outpost not going to be going up. Villagers move back in. It looks like Hut is going to be in a significant amount of pressure here. Villagers falling back into the TC. Managing the Gatling gun a few shots off. We'll check back in with B now. It's just going to be wheelbarrow that he goes for at this stage of the game. No military techs at this stage. Interestingly, not going for siege engineering. I would have thought that would have really helped out with his tempo. He's actually gathered up 450 stone at this point, so that's going to be enough to grab his fortification as well as arrow slits for this outpost. But he's moving forward now. Second outpost going to be coming down, and you can see that the outpost wars continue to unfold over on this east side of the map, or towards the north side of the map, but the east side of the base falls back from that position. Arrow slits still coming in. Could be thinking about a second town center as well. Honestly, when I see the wheelbarrow, I start to think maybe it's a potential second town center play that he's thinking about. Be looking good, though, at this point in the game. Definitely seems like he's got the upper hand here. The initial attack that came through here from Hut obviously didn't do a lot. You know, it stalled out the gold, sure, but that was it. That was it. So I really got to give top props here to B for the fact that he went for horsemen as well instead of going for scouts. I would have gone for scouts. I would have reacted the same way I would as a Mongol, or against a Mongol. But here you can see B just being ahead of the curve. He knows exactly what to do. It's going to be horsemen for him, and just looking very, very strong. But now, Council Hall continuing to pump out units. We see that +1 is coming through, as well as forestry coming through. So looking to get +1 ranged armor here. No siege engineering just yet. So with that, once again, it's going to be the second town center coming down. So that again is pointing me in the direction of, you know, if he's going for +1 ranged armor instead of siege engineering, he's not interested in finishing this game immediately. He's thinking a little bit more in the long term. And that's what that wheelbarrow really said. But now we'll check in with Hut and see how he's doing. It's going to be a castle age. And I suspect going from the castle age, he's going to be looking to get knights up as quickly as possible. I think it's going to be a smart move for him. And realistically, he'll be able to overwhelm the composition of his enemy. I would love to see, ideally, a white tower coming down in the back of his base. But it is a very tough thing, because the main issue that you're going to have is as soon as you drop that white tower, the outpost line of sight is going to spot that. And there is the potential that all of these units are just going to run in underneath the town center and try and look to prolong it as much as possible. We now see that Iron Undermesh is coming through. Siege Engineering now jumping in queue. So he's looking to play the game safely here. Villager count, 51 for B, 41 for Hut. He's lost a lot of villagers in this early stage of the game. He's trying to get back into it. And B going to continue climbing ahead. Keep in mind, he's got that second town center down. So he is just in an absolute beautiful position. And with this, going to be able to turn his attention towards that ram. We'll take a look and see how close Hut is. Hut's actually getting upgrades here. I can't help but feel like he might be leaving it a little bit too late. or not too late, but rather getting those a bit too early. I guess realistically, he's macroed, somewhat over macroed on gold anyway, so he's still going to be on target for that that castle age, and that you would really hope it's going to be the white tower. I've seen players before in this very position. Actually, it was a game Beastie was playing, and it was in this exact matchup, and he opened 2 TC against France. France did the second TC. And then he went for a King's Palace. And I'm like, no, you can't, Beastie. You can't do it. And he went for a King's Palace. And he got absolutely ruffled. Actually, it wasn't against French. It was against Mongols. He was playing up against Lee Nock. Yeah, I was just watching it. I was in awe. I'm like, no, you can't go King's Palace. Not right now. So hopefully it's going to be the white tower that comes down for Hut. The problem that's going to happen is, let's have a look and see if he puts the white tower down. Oh, no. Please, Hut. Don't do me like this. Now I'm going to be putting that one down. And you can see, even if it was the white tower here, the problem's going to be that B still runs up underneath and just idles. Now, that's going to be tough for him because he's going to have to try and force these villagers away from this. You might even be tempted to delete a farm here just so you can get it just like a tile or two in closer. But with that, obviously, he's going age 3. The question's going to be what he can actually achieve with it, because even if he gets that age 3, you can see the resources in the bank right now, very minimal. Still, he's got siege engineering in B, but at the moment, not a single. Actually, he doesn't have siege engineering in. It's still coming in. So he's decided to push early here. Town center going to be going down, though. And right now, at this point for Hut, I'm really starting to worry. Things not looking pretty for him. The French looking very strong in this matchup. And I got to say, I love the way that he countered that. To all you guys that are out here watching this, maybe you're having a little bit of trouble in this matchup. Maybe you're having a bit of trouble here with the English outpost rush. This is a great way to deal with it. Now, this is a bit unique to French in the regard that they get access to a stable for free through their School of Cavalry. So a lot of other civs, not only are they going to have to build a stable, but they're also going to have to wait those 30 seconds that it takes to actually make them. Now, obviously, you can rush those bad boys up. You can see right there. You can put more villagers on it, but Hut reaching the castle age now, 17 minutes. He's somewhat backed into the corner. No access to gold, so it's going to be no knights. He's got access to wood, but he's slowly but steadily eating through that wood line. We're going to see more farms coming down for him. He's got a very nice little compact base, but only longbowmen. And we start to see knights being mixed in as well for his opponent. And B looking very strong at this early stage, or at this central stage of the game. I say early stage of the game. We're entering the mid-game part of it here. Battering ram rolling out, and B also going to be thinking about going towards that castle age. And look at the military, oh my god, look at the difference right now in population. All right, this game is over, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head back to the drawing board, because game 4, it's going to be coming up very soon. Look, it's rare that I call GGs, with the exception of a Khan going down, but this one is not looking pretty right now. B going to be rolling in with his single battering ram, not a single spearman or men-at-arms or knight or horseman to stop it. Instead, we actually see an archery range coming up as well. Is he just going mass archers right now? This is ludicrous from Hut. Hut now going to be falling in underneath the town center. No H3 coming through for B at this point in time, but Hut is going to tap out right there. Good game gets called and takes this series to 2-1. B doing a decent job there and managing to cling back in with a game. Keep in mind, we are still on match point. Game number 4 is going to be coming up. It could be the last one. It could be the second last one. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. And I'll catch you guys in that next one.